Part 2.
Thanks for coming. I guess we will see you in 2 weeks at the hospital when the baby gets here, Sandra said as we all said our goodbyes. That was the last time I saw my brother and your mother alive. A few hours later, I was visited by the police, telling me my brother and Sandra were dead, and you were at Children's Trauma Center undergoing surgery, Uncle said, crying. Sorry, Uncle, I did not mean to upset you, I said, trying to console him the best I knew how. It's okay. I cherish those last memories, and I'm glad I'm able to share them with you. I left my uncle's room while he was still weeping over the loss of his only brother. I'm sure most of his tears were also for my aunt. I was curious to what my parents said on the way to the hospital. I skipped ahead to a cassette tape dated the day I was born. The cassette tape was an audio from the moment my mother began having labor pains and ended when both my parents became unconscious. And it was titled, The Day Sandra Went into Labor, Tape Number 1, Friday. Noted on the next page of the journal is a time in writing. Just shy of midnight, Sandra and I decided to call it a night and go to bed. 2 hours later, Sandra was awakened by the sensation of a wet sheet and pajamas. She turned on the cassette player and woke me up. As I began to listen to the recording, I imagined my parents' every move as I heard their voices. I began to imagine how it all went. Samuel, wake up! Samuel, it's time. I think my water broke, Mom said, panicking as she reached to turn on the light from the lamp on the dark brown wooden nightstand next to her side of the bed. She got out of bed and headed to the bathroom to clean herself up. Huh? What? Dad responded, yawning while stretching his arms. What time is it? He questioned sluggishly. Samuel, I think the baby is coming. Please wake up, Mom said as she comes out of the bathroom to get dressed. Dad pulled off the blankets and jumped up in a daze to see what was happening to Mom. The sheets are soaked with what looks like water. Mom is standing up at the end of the bed wearing her hat and coat with a small suitcase by her side. Sandra, why didn't you wake me up sooner? Dad spurted as he fumbled over to the beige chase lounge for his shoes and clothes. I've been trying to wake you up for the last... Oh! Mom screamed in pain. Do you have everything? Dad asked as he laced up the last shoe. What did I do with the car keys? Dad yelled as he scoped the room looking for his keys. Try looking in your hands, dear. Mom laughed while experiencing contraction and pain. Sandra, how are you holding up? Should I call an ambulance? No, the hospital's just 6 blocks away, but we do need to hurry. Dad grabbed the suitcase and Mom by the hand and headed down the stairs to the garage. Be careful coming down the stairs, sweetheart. Uh, Mom said, screaming louder than before. The contractions are getting close, Mom shouted in pain. Okay, sweetheart, breathe like you were taught in Lama's class. I have been doing that. It's not helping, Mom smiled. Dad opens the car door and made sure Mom was secure and threw the suitcase in the back seat. As they drove off, the wind was howling and the rain was coming down extremely hard. There was hardly any traffic on the highway. Stores along the highway are closed and the streetlights are faded by the fog and rain. Honey, slow down. It's raining so hard and I can barely see out the window. So I know you are having a hard time seeing. I'm going the speed limit. Yeah, but when it's raining, you need to reduce your speed. Okay, just this once I will listen to you. Only because I love you so much. Plus you are having our baby, Dad said as he beamed with joy while rubbing Mom's stomach. I love you too, Samuel, as she placed her hands on top of his hand. They both rubbed her stomach as one. Aren't you glad we decided to wait to see what we are having? What do you think, a boy or girl? As he glances over to Mom's direction. Samuel, look out, Mom screamed. What? Dad asked. Dad turned to see why Mom was screaming. He is blinded by a set of headlights. He is unable to act quickly. The two vehicles collide with one another. Upon impact, the vehicle flipped over 4 times, landing upside down. Dad is unable to move and looks over to see if Mom is okay. Samuel, The baby, the baby, the baby came out, Mom said in a faded voice. Sandra, I love you. The baby, it's a... Dad attempts to say the sex of the baby. I love you too, Samuel, she said as she holds his hand tight. As I continued listening to what happened on the day I was born, I looked at the accident photos from that morning. I could not believe what I was seeing. I went to my uncle's room to get him to tell me what I had just listened to and seen could not be true. I shook him and begged him to tell me these things were a lie, but he was not responsive. I called 911 and began CPR, but it was too late. He had passed away. After my uncle's funeral, I went home to read the letter he asked me not to read until after his death. The letter confirmed what really happened the morning I was born. The news article on the day read, 4 people killed in a vehicle accident, but in reality it was 5. The day I was born was also the day I died. The lies from that morning revealed the truth. What I have learned has changed me into a different person. I am now on a mission, seeking revenge and prepared to kill those who have destroyed innocent lives. G&A's Bar and Grill is a local bar where people go for happy hour after a hard day's work. The location of the bar is on a secluded road, bordered by trees with a small lake in the distance. There are 5 pool tables lined up in a row to the left of the front door. There are a few large video games against the wall. 3 flat-screen televisions are hanging on the walls, with different programs on each screen. The bar is always swarming with people enjoying the TGIF moment. That evening, all pool tables were in use. There was a handful of young men jokingly arguing about their score at the video game. One television had the Giants and the Padres game. The Padres were up to bat at the top of the 4th inning, and the score was 3-1. There are men and women discussing who was going to win the game. Some are questioning who the better pitcher was between the 2 teams. On the second television, there was a sports talk show. On the last flat screen, the local weatherman predicted heavy fog with a light drizzle. Jack Stone, a regular customer at G&A, is an abusive husband and father of 3 children. Jack has a tendency to drink too much. He is known for his frequent hookups with willing, lonely women, especially after a night of heavy drinking. He has 3 DUIs and multiple domestic calls on his arrest record. However, it does not stop Jack from enjoying his rum and coke at G&A's every weekend and then driving home intoxicated. Is anyone sitting there? A woman asked, motioning at a bar stool. Only you, Jack responded as he downed his 4th drink of the night. I have never seen you here before. Is this your first time? He asked with a flirtatious tone and smile. At first, the woman pretended not to be interested in Jack. Why not be friendly? I may get a free drink, she reflected as she took off her coat. Yes, it is. What about you? Do you come here often? She responded. As she sat on the bar stool, she made a point to cross her legs and pull up her red skirt just above the kneecap to show her long, smooth, silky legs while wearing 5-inch red heels. All the time. I'm a regular. Isn't that right, Joe? Jack asked the bartender for confirmation as he slowly glazed down at her legs. What are you drinking tonight? Joe asked. Joe, set her up with what I'm drinking and add it to my tab, Jack quickly answered as he looked into her eyes while slowly sipping his drink. And what are you drinking? The woman asked. What I always drink, rum and coke. So are you here with anyone? No, and thanks for the drink, the woman responded, raising her drink as if making a toast. Jack and the woman continued talking as he bought her another drink. He tried to convince her to give him her phone number, or better yet, go with him to a motel. I'll tell you what, Jack, I'll be back next weekend, and then maybe I'll give you my phone number. It's the date, Jack said sluggishly. Thanks for the 2 drinks. Next time it's on me. Get home safe, the woman said as she left the bar. As the bar prepares to close, Jack finished his last drink for the night. Joe took Jack's car keys away and called him a cab. The cab driver was a block down the street when Jack told the driver to let him out at the curb. Jack walked back to his vehicle, started it up with his spare set of keys. Before he could place the vehicle in drive, his throat was slashed. Jack looked at the rearview mirror and recognized his attacker as someone from the bar. He slumped on his right side with blood streaming profusely from his neck. "You were a target because you'll never learn or quit," the attacker said, exiting the vehicle but not before leaving a sealed envelope on the front seat. Without being seen, the attacker walked down the street to a parked vehicle. A half hour passed and the morning fog had formed. The few vehicles left in the parking lot windows were fogged with morning mist. Joe, along with two waitresses, is the last person to leave the bar. As the two waitresses are walking to their vehicles, one of them noticed Jack's vehicle with its engines running. "Hey Joe, isn't that Jack's car? Why is the engine running?" one waitress asked. "It sure is. I took his keys and placed him in a cab earlier." "How did he get his keys? Did he double back for his vehicle?" "Jack knows if he gets any more DUIs, he's going to go to jail for good," Joe responded. "He looks like he's passed out," one waitress stated. Jack, come on, I'll take you home," Joe yelled while walking over to Jack's vehicle. Joe opened the driver's side door and nudged Jack on the shoulder, trying to wake him up. As he tapped his shoulder, Jack slid sideways towards the middle console. Joe felt something on his hand. It was blood. The waitresses were standing next to the vehicle and observed everything that happened. They began to scream. "Joe, is Jack dead?" a waitress asked, yelling loudly, her hands over her mouth. "Yes, I believe so. I can't get a pulse. Call 911. Sirens can be heard in the distance. The flashing red and blue lights are barely visible because of the thick fog. When the medic unit arrived, the medic examined the body. He told the officer that the victim's throat was cut with a sharp object. The first officer on the scene inspected the vehicle. He called on the two-way radio for the crime unit vehicle. "I need the forensic team and a coroner at 1739 Southeast Highway. There is a possible homicide." The second officer went over to question Joe and the two waitresses, who were still crying uncontrollably. "Sir, are you the one that made the 911 call and discovered the body?" the officer asked as he approached Joe and the waitresses. "Yes. I had just finished locking the front door when Debbie noticed Jack's vehicle with the engine running. I placed Jack in a cab an hour earlier." "I do not know why he came back for his vehicle," Joe responded. "Did you notice anyone else in the area?" "No," they all said in unison. "Jack and the three of us were the last ones for at least 10 minutes before closing. When the cat came to pick up Jack, our vehicles were the only ones in the parking lot," Joe answered. "Did he have a problem with anyone in the bar?" the officer asked. "Who, Jack? No, everyone knows Jack, and he is well liked by everyone, although he drinks too much. He did try to pick up this woman, but she left hours ago," Joe stated. "Did you have any security cameras on the premises?" "Yes, only on the inside, but they stopped working last week. The technician is due here tomorrow to repair them." "Okay, that will be all for now. If I have any more questions, I will call you," the officer said. The officer sealed off the area with yellow crime tape. The coroner examined the body before loading it in the morgue's hearse. "Can you determine how he died?" the first officer asked the coroner. "For now, it looks as if he bled out. I believe the knife cut the jugular vein, and without medical help, he didn't have a chance. I will know more when I examine him further. I'll tell you one thing, he reeks of alcohol, and I'm willing to bet his toxicology results will be high," the coroner said. "Okay, thanks," the officer said as he headed out over to talk with the forensic team. "You need to call the chief on this one," the lead forensic officer said. "Why?" This was found in the vehicle.